Beautiful day here in Michigan, guys. It's almost 90 degrees out already. So we're gonna do the right thing and we're gonna work in the garage today. So got some more parts for the Nova and pretty excited about this. We got the Derale electrical transmission cooler, 13900. This is actually my second one of these that I've ordered. Ordered the first one, and when I got it and opened it up, it had a bunch of transmission fluid and stuff like that all over inside the bag and stuff like that. So some of it was really cool. I called them, told them about it. They immediately shipped me one out. I had one back here right the next day and just had to send the other one back. But yeah, so I decided to go with this. Trying to kind of prepare for, you know, sitting in traffic for massive amounts of times. You know, I want to try to cruise this thing once it gets done. You know, I'm thinking like, you know, Power Tour, LS Fest, stuff like that, big car show, stuff like that. So that was kind of my thought process behind this, that of tying it into the radiator. So, and it is going to go underneath the car. I have a good spot underneath the car that we're not going to be using anymore, right where the mufflers go, which will be basically underneath the back seat. But this is a pretty complete kit. Comes with, you know, the hoses, all of our fittings. It even comes with a temperature, basically a temperature probe, whatever sensor. It's got a little unit that'll go in line, so it'll turn on. I think it was 180 degrees, I think is what it turns on at. So, and of course the cooler itself. This thing it's honestly absolutely beautiful. So I will show you what the plan is and where the plan is to put it. All right, let's get some light going on. Yeah. There we go. There we go. All right, so this is kind of the plan of where I want to put it at. It's where the muffler would have went. And since we're not going to be running a exhaust on this out the back, then this kind of leaves a good spot. So I kind of test fitted it up here. We are going to have to get rid of this e-brake bracket here. Pretty much where we're going, we're not going to need these. No, not really. We do, but we're going to make sacrifices. So, all right, little distraction. Amazon guy showed up with more goodies. So anyway, yeah, so we're going to cut this off and we're going to mount it right here. The lines will be coming out right this way, so we actually have a 90 we're going to put on it. So we're going to run both hoses out right here, run them right down this way, and we're going to come right up here. I got these banjo fittings to put in the side of the transmission. They're a -6 end connector right here, and it's really tight in here. The 4L80 fits great in here, to be honest with you. Didn't have to do any modifications to the tunnel or anything like that. All I had to do was actually take my transmission cross member here and actually just moved it back, and all I did is just moved it back to another set of holes, and then use that one hole and then just drilled a hole for the next one. So it actually fit great. So no problems there. Then we're just waiting on a dry shaft right now. I got a Denny's dry shaft that's on order right now. That it was like a 5-6 week wait on that. So, but anyway, so these are the banjo fittings. We're going to turn them and we're going to run the hoses back straight back this way, right here along, and then right into it. So Should be able to knock this out pretty quick. It comes with all the mounting hardware too to drill it through the floor and stuff like that. So it should turn out pretty well. So we'll get it out, we'll get it over here, and we'll start getting it mocked up and see if we can get it done. All right, guys, so this is basically where, you know, like I said, we're gonna put it. So this is it here. Basically, we have our two fittings on each, or on the end here. And the one closest to the fan here, according to the instructions, is what is supposed to be the inlet, which makes sense, close to the fan, so it'll be inlet and outlet. The only thing that sucks about that is it puts the inlet over here, so we got to kind of make a 90 to kind of go into it. And then we still have to trim this off, but just want to give you guys an idea of where this was going to go. So basically just like that, and but it'll scoot over a little bit closer here. So it's kind of a perfect spot for it. Be out of the way of everything. It's still going to be, for the most part, below our scrub line and stuff like that, with still enough space up here. I can get my whole hand in there, so we got a solid inch up there for airflow. And you can reverse these. You can actually pull air down or push air up. Not quite sure which way we're going to do. I'm thinking we're just going to pull from the ground. I don't really know yet. We'll see. We're not going to be hooking it up right now anyway. I just want to get this all mounted. We'll do a lot of the electrical later. So I think first thing we'll do is we'll get this bracket cut off and see if we can get this mounted, at least get the holes drilled and stuff like that, get that mounted, and then we'll start running our lines up. Shouldn't take too long to do this, so. All right, I think that opened up a little bit more room. Oh yeah. That lets us get us over there a lot further, gives us a lot more room by the dry shaft. So I'm gonna put the fittings on the end of here to make sure that we've got enough room to come back, and then we'll see if we can start getting a couple holes marked. All right, so this is what we are gonna have for our fittings. We're gonna have to have a 90 coming out of the return here, because it's going to be basically underneath the car just like this. And then because we don't have enough room here to keep coming out, we're going to have to put this, which this is our temperature sending unit, and this all comes in the kit. This part does here, and these are just the adapters here that would come with it. So that one, and then this one here. So we're going to put this in line right here with a hose. So we'll just put a hose on there, and that'll sit there, and then we'll just run the temperature sending unit wires where they'll be just coming down at the bottom like that. So this will be a rubber hose right here, and then coming out of here will be a rubber hose, and then obviously the rubber hose here. So it's going to be here, and we're just going to curl the hose just like this and run them both together just like this right down. So I'm going to get a hose made up. We'll get it on there just so we have it for mock-up, and then we'll set it up underneath the car. Okay, so I got the fittings on here and the hose made. I haven't gotten any sealant or any tape or clamps or anything like that on anything right now. This is all just for mock-up, but this is basically what I had in mind. So looks like we've got pretty good room here, stuff like that. It's all the way over. Yeah, it'd leave us enough room to come out here. I think that's a good spot. I do think I'm gonna have to add on to the back here. I was kind of wondering if I was gonna have to, because it sticks out a little bit at the back. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll get these holes right here done, and then get the that way those are set where they need to be, and then I'll come back here, and I think I'm going to make a plate or a couple extensions back here for that, and I'll show you that once we get there. So I'm going to get these holes marked, drilled, and then bring it back to show you what we're doing on the back. All right, we got our 2 holes drilled for the front. And I'll show you what we kind of got going on in the back right here. So when we put this up here, see how it's a little bit past right here? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here, I'm just gonna make a little tab here and a tab here. I'll weld it to the floor here, and then I'm gonna drill the hole into it right there. So that way it's basically just a little extension piece coming out right there. Okay guys, I got them brackets made. So that's pretty much what I had in mind right there, because it stuck out just a little bit past that curve right there. So that's why I put those on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that mounted up. Oh, and I didn't know if I mentioned that, but it did come with all the hardware. It comes with quarter 20 bolts, with nylocks and washers and everything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that mounted up there, and then we'll go ahead and start the process of doing the lines and stuff like that. All right guys, we got that all mounted up there. Sits in there real good. And in case you're wondering, like it's below the floor pan actually. You can see that it's below the, or I would say, I guess, above the springs here and stuff like that. So it doesn't really set as low as you would think it does. And then got the brackets and everything. See how those turned out? We have plenty of room up here. I can fit my whole hand up in underneath there. So we got plenty of airflow. All of our fittings here are tightened up. And when you guys put the sensor on right here, it says do not use Teflon tape or dielectric grease because it'll transfer the heat. So I put some of the liquid PTFE on there. It's oil resistant, gas resistant, stuff like that. It didn't say not to use that, so it's just a little bit around the threads, and then hand tight only on this. It says right in there in bold letters, if you break this off, it voids all the warranty. So this is just hand tight in there. So you got that facing this way, so where the wires come out, we'll tie everything all together. And we got the fittings out of the transmission. So these are the fittings that I bought. These are a banjo fitting to 6AN. Now I've got a 4L80, and I've got the older 4L80 that has the two outlets that are closer up by the bell housing. The newer ones will have one here and then one back here somewhere, I think it is. And if you have that one, you're gonna have a short one and a long one of these. It'll be another inch longer up in here to go back into the case. So just make sure you guys know which ones you guys are getting. Mine both require the two short ones. So I'm gonna get these installed up here, and then we'll start our hoses coming out. All right guys, we got this thing all mounted in and finished up. So we'll start down here. So got our banjo fittings all in. Everything's good and tight up here. And then this is a pain in the behind to get into right here. In case you guys don't know, the top one is going to be our supply and the bottom will be our return. So our top one will come back, and it actually goes into the side right here where we have our thermostat. So that'll go through and come out back here. And I don't have this wired up yet because I'm going to wait, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to be running my harness and stuff like that underneath for like my fuel pump and all that stuff for the Terminator X. So I'm just going to wait and kind of do some of that together. But basically you're going to have a 12 volt signal come down here. I think it's going to be like 15 amps max, I think it says, and then 5 continuous. It's rated at 5.3 amps, and a maximum of 15 amps can go through it. So we'll probably just run a 14 gauge back to it. Same thing we're running for our fuel pump. But anyway, yeah, we'll have a power that'll go in, a 12 volt source, and then the fan will go into one side, and then one side of the fan right here will just go to a ground. That's all it is. And then what I did up here is I didn't really have a spot to mount anything up here. So since this is hollow right here, I drilled a hole there and just kind of bent it down to kind of give a little bit of a hook here and a hook here, and run a zip tie through there. And then here, I went and fabbed up this bracket right here and put it on there, just kind of spot welded it right here. And then I kind of took the ends of it and bowed them down so it doesn't cut the hose here, and then it'll give a spot for the zip ties to kind of hold on to. So that'll route right there. Everything is pretty good. An extra zip tie there, and this thing is nice and sturdy under here. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. Let me know if you guys have any questions on it. Let me know down in the comments whether you think that it was a good idea to put it underneath the car or we should have ran it to the front. I think it's a good idea. Less stuff up in the front for clutter. It's nice and put away down here. We have the room. They're pretty affordable too, in case you guys don't know. That whole setup was like 197 bucks. And then obviously with Summit, if you order over 100 bucks, you get it for free shipping. So it really is not a bad deal, really. And I think it's gonna be one less thing to kind of worry about, I think. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it. Make sure you guys like the video. Shoot me a comment on what you guys think of it. And if you guys want to see some more of this content on the Nova, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. All right, guys, we'll see you guys back here next time on Factory Rack Garage. Later.